You have to say on the first part where the skewing is. Now remember, they're never going to be perfect. The uniform, it's approximately uniform. We can see that it's not bouncing around here. So we say approximately uniform, approximately symmetric. You can see the ends are not exactly, but it's approximate enough. This guy, follow the tail. This is skewed to the right. So it means the mean, this is interesting, right? This is interesting. I have no clue. What just happened?
Miss Moore, I think I might have accidentally hit it.
You hit it?
I think so.
Okay. But my writing is in almost the same spot.
It's like perfect.
There it goes.
Oh, okay.
You got it right.
And Leslie, I wouldn't be offended if you hit it. It's sitting right on top of you. So the mean is to the right of the median. When it's skewed to the right, you have to know this. Okay? In a symmetric graph, your mean, your median, and your mode fall in the middle. How do I get rid of this thing? Okay. Your mean, your median, and your mode fall in the middle.
Click the arrow.
Uniform.
The arrow. Wait till the Microsoft name.
Thank you. Good teamwork. Skewed left. Follow your tail. That means the mean sits where?
Left.
Good. That's what that outlier is doing. It's kind of pulling your mean a little bit less. Yes?
I didn't say, or you can pick none of the above. None of the.
Or you could pick none of the
Yeah,
above.
it's like or none, yeah.
Or none.
Like no,
Not symmetric. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what else it would tell you. Yeah, probably, yeah. I probably just put that in there just in case. But it did. You had one for each. You had one for each type that we learned. Okay. You need to follow along with this and tell me where your questions are. Okay, 21. You had to find your mean, your median, your mode. And Nick, you had to determine which one to use. Which one did you say to use? For number 21. You used the median. Why? Well, you had to have a reason.
what was my gut feeling?
Okay, so let's not use your gut feeling. Let's lay it out over here. Your median and your mode are exactly the middle of your data. Is your mean close enough? Close enough. You can use any of them in this case. Generally, whenever you can, use the mean. Most of the time, you won't be able to use your mode unless your curve is symmetric. When your curve is symmetric, then your mean, median, and mode sit in the middle. They're all the same. Normally, we try to use the mean because everybody pretty much understands the mean, the averages, the most. The median is a little bit different because it identifies the center of your data, but it doesn't really tell you like what numbers you're looking at.
Would we have to put it in order first to find?
You have to put it in order. It has to be in order first. God bless you.
Thank you. You
Now,
guys are so kind.
this guy, the second one is not in order. Is it? No. You would have to put this one in order first. So I sorted it into order. I don't know if the first one was or I just automatically put it there. Was it not in order? No. Okay, you have to put them in order lowest to highest.
In your calculator?
Well, no, not in your calculator, but if you're laying this out to show me where your mean and your median are, this is what I wanted to see. Here's your median, right here. Guys, if you need to have a conversation, you need to leave. Here's your median, right there. Here's your mean, right here. Here's your mode, over here, over here. So, which one actually is the closest to the center? Median. The median, when you put this in your calculator, the calculator doesn't care what order you put it in. You can sort ascending, this way you find your mode a little easier. Otherwise your mode's harder to find if you have to keep bouncing around. But the problem is, for you to see exactly where the center of your data is, you need to do this. And that's what this exercise was about. showing me that's what your exercise was about when you guys were investigating together. I think you kind of missed the investigative part, but that's what you had to do. You had to identify where the center of your data fell. So the median has a little, your data's a little skewed. Your higher numbers are skewing it a little. See where I've pulled your mean? Actually, your lower numbers might be. So here's your mean. See where it pulled your mean a little bit off of that? You had a bunch of higher numbers over there. Okay. 26, I think the other ones just asked you to find the mean, the median, and the mode.
But in the dot plot work, go to,
Absolutely, and dot plot works very well. 26, can everybody put this in their calculator and find the mean and the median and the mode? Okay, there's no outliers here. Even without graphing this, you can tell by this. If these are close, there's no outlier here. Okay. We're going to also learn in the next unit how to figure out where an outlier is. Well, in 2.5 we figure out how to figure out what an outlier, like what actually constitutes an outlier. Usually it's kind of obvious, especially a dot plot will show you, any number line will show you when you weigh them out, lowest to largest, or least to greatest, whatever. You'll kind of see where your outliers go. But we have a formula too. The new math, the new statistics books actually give us a formula for finding your outliers. So when these are close, you can use either one. Go with the mean. The mean is more popular. The mean, the median, they both sit in the middle here. Okay. Here's a graph, and they wanted to know which one you would use, the mean, the median, or the mode. Could you find a mean? No, because these are all, what types of categories are these?
non-numerical.
Non-numerical, good. They're qualitative, they're nominal, and they're not even ordinal. They're nominal. So we really can't find a mean, and we really can't find a median because we can't put this in any order. If we could have put this in an order, we could look for a median. But there's no order to this. So the only thing you could use in this case is your mode. And out of the ones that are most popular, you would say eyeglasses are most popular. Okay?
You wouldn't even be able to find a median for a mean.
No, well,
Well, a mean.
because the mean you wouldn't be able to find them, but the median, if they had some kind of order, you could probably find the one that sat in the middle, but there's no order to this because it's all nominal. I'm sorry, this is kind of fuzzy, but you could find your data and put this in. You would have to put in each entry into your L1. This would be 6, 7, 12, 15, 18, 19. You'd put all of them into your L1. Okay? Find your mean, median, and mode. You could also find your median by counting how many entries you had. You have, let's count your leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 28. You had 28. Half of this is 14. Count where your 14th entry is. Now your even numbers, if you think about your even numbers, it's always in between two of them. Your odd numbers is always the one in the middle. So if I count 14, 14 is right here. Unfortunately, it comes right between both of them. So that's the 32. There's your median. You can find your median without putting it in your calculator because these are nice. They're already ordered for you. Just count the number of entries. The median is the physical middle of your data. And the mode is nice to tell because we look for your stems. The stems that occur the most, you'll find your mode with. The only thing that you'd have to put this in your calculator for is your mean. Everybody comfortable putting it in the calculator, the L1s, L2s?
For this, what would we put in the L2?
You wouldn't put anything in L2 for this one.
No.
Only in your L1.
And,
L2 would have a frequency.
and for our L1, which numbers will we put?
You would put the whole number in, like 6, 7, 12, 15, 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to put the whole entry in it. These really came out pretty bad. Okay. 37, these are nominal. There's no order to those, they're just the name of things. And you can tell this is not even a Pareto. They're nominal. So the only thing you can go by is your mode. 38, this is almost a symmetrical chart. Wouldn't you say this is almost symmetrical?
Mm-hmm.
So your mean, your median, and your mode sit in the middle. They sit right there in the middle at 73, at 73.5. All you had to do was say if it was symmetrical. So yeah, because this is a nice little curve, it approximates a normal curve. We call this a normal curve. Your mean, median, and mode all sit at the same place. So you could use either, and probably therefore use your median. Use your mean. This guy here, this is also fairly symmetrical. I realize this piece is a little off, but it's fairly symmetrical. So your mean, median, and mode again sit in the middle. And then you would use your mean.
Would that be considered an outlier?
This guy, no, because he's almost the same as this one. So we almost have a symmetrical curve. This guy over here, there's your outlier. So what happens to your mean? It would be more towards the right. Good. So what would represent the middle of your data then? Good. The median is your middle. And the mean would fall to the right. You would use your median. You got it. So you're kind of pulled your mean along the side there. It follows your tail. If you remember that your mean follows your tail, you'll remember which one to use. Here's a weighted score. We talked about your weighting yesterday. All your weights have to add up to 100%. This has to add up to 100%. Or if they did it as a decimal, it adds up to 1. It adds up to 1. So each category is weighted. And for those of you guys that were in here yesterday, we finished this up yesterday. We did a weighted mean. Each category has a certain weighting. And they're saying here that your quizzes are 35%. That had a stronger weighting of your assessments. Your projects had a good weighting. Your homeworks were only weighted 5%. Your final exam, 25%. So if you multiply these by your decimal, you get your pieces, and then you add them all up, and you get your final grade. Everybody good with that? Okay. For the month of April, a checking account has a balance of $523 for 24 days. So you got 24 523s. You got 2 2415s and 4 250s. There's your frequency. You can string them all out and put them in your L1, or you can do an L1, L2. And do it that way. You're going to take the totals across when you multiply. This is what your calculator would do also. Instead of adding this 24 times, you just multiply it. Then you add them down, take your totals divided by how many in your frequency, and you get your mean. This is finding a mean when it has a frequency. This is interesting, and this might affect you guys next year, or whenever you go to college. This is how they do your college grades.
How would you do that?
Yeah. How they weight this. Okay, so an A is worth 4 points, a B is worth 3 points, a C is worth 2 points, and a D is worth 1 point. And it goes by how many credits you have. Because a 4-credit course is going to give you a little more pull than a 3-credit course, a little more pull than a 2-credit course. So you're taking your total credits altogether. You had 15 credits altogether. A 4, 2 3s, 1 3, and a 2. 15 credits altogether. So now you take your A, which is worth 4, times your 4 credits. You take your B, which is worth 3, times your 3 credits twice. I did it separate so you'd see it. Your C, which is worth a 2, times your credit. A D, which is worth a 1, times your credit. Then you add them all up and you divide them. Because in your courses, when you go to college, your 4-credit courses are harder than your 3-credit courses. They'll go by numbers. Like, you can't get to the 2nd level until you passed all your 1st level courses. So you do all your basic courses, and then you take the advanced courses, probably like in your 2nd or 3rd year. You start in your 4-credit courses. So of course that has to have a little bit more weight on this. I tried to keep this is the value of your letter. This is how many credits in your course. And then we take a total. This is your total credits that you took. So you come up with your grade point average. And this is good for you guys to know because you're going to be doing this pretty soon. You're going to say, hey, I had all A's and one little C. How come my grade point average is blah, blah, blah? How because your C was weighted a little bit more than your A's were? This is amazing. Okay. 51. We did this example yesterday, and a lot of you didn't want to do this one. Whether you didn't want to be bothered or you just didn't remember it. But go back and look at the example. When we go to put this in your L1, we can't put this in your L1. We can only put one number in there. So it makes sense to use your midpoint. Don't we use your midpoint on your graph to represent the middle of that group? So we find your midpoint. Find your class width. What's your class width in this? 10. 10 minus 0, 10. So find one midpoint and add 10 all the way down. There's your midpoints. So this is your L1 and this is your L2. A 1-bear stat, and that will give you your mean, your approximate mean. We don't know exactly where it is because we don't know where these numbers fall. We have to use your midpoint. Can you find your mode for this? What's your mode? Okay, so it's the one with the highest frequency. So you can either give me the midpoint or you can tell me your mode is contained in that class. The median, you can find the median when you do your L1, L2, or you can add your median up. This all adds up to 299. It's an odd number, so if we divide this by 2, it's like the 149 between 149 and 150, right? 148, something like that. The 149 one, whatever. You can add these down. Keep accumulating these until you hit the 150. And then you add another 53. So in this group right here is where your median is going to be. It's in that position. If you do it in your calculator, not a problem. It'll show you the median with the midpoint. So those of you that couldn't do this, can you do this now? Okay, no go on the sleep with you guys. God bless you. All right. The median, and how it changed it, and we know that it'll change. Okay, if you change your data, but you keep the same amount, your median stays the same. So bless you. If you take an amount away, then your median will change, right? Because then the center of your data changed. So if you're just replacing this, if you replace a value, your median stays the same. And so which one was affected by changing it? Your mean. Your median will stay the same if you keep the same number there. Okay? And these are things you've learned before, but we kind of just go into a,
You said we'll just finish it tomorrow.
let's see, let me see what time we have. This is the review. Then we have 10 minutes now, and what about 15 minutes tomorrow? So that'll give you 25 minutes altogether. If in 10 minutes you don't get through at least a quarter of it, then I suggest you take it home. Because then you won't have enough time tomorrow to finish it. You see, that means you have.